Hello everyone. Today we will do class 10 ICSE board syllabus second chapter factors for the growth of nationalism. One video related to this is already given in the channel. I'll give the link in the description box. Now, the factors responsible for the growth of nationalism in India are many. Your syllabus considers the role of Jyotiba Phule, Ram Mohan Roy, the sociologist movements mainly, along with the role of press. So now I'll move on to the sociologist movements. The 19th century India was full of sociologist movements like the Brahmo Samaj movement, the Arya Samaj movement, the Ramakrishna mission was established. So here the sociologist movements had a huge impact on the mindset of people. So the 19th century, with a series of religious movements, we see Raja Ram Mohan Roy founding the Brahmo Samaj in 1828. It contained the practice of polygamy, child marriage, like the social evils. What we consider evil, that is creating negativity in the society or which is harmful. Actually, when it was happening, people were not thinking at a negative point. Like the child marriages. Now we consider like child marriages is bad, or Indian constitution is given 18 years for a girl and 21 years for a man to get married, like for a boy to get married. But that time it was okay, as we also will read in letter that the age of consent debate. Now you will not know actually. So the age of where the consent for marriage was firstly highlighted, like consensual, like everything for a marriage or a relationship, the concept of consent. But there, that time it was not there. So the sociologist movements, that time the reformers, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Vivekananda, what did they do? They tried to change the mindset of the society for the benefit of the society. Yes, obviously the modern now we are, or the then society, we cannot judge that. But accordingly, they tried that. So the 19th century was brought a change in our society through these movements. Now we will discuss about the impact of the socio-religious movements. Firstly, these reformers denounced untouchability or the caste system in India. Like we all now also know the caste system is an evil, or the treatment we make to our Dalits, the treatment we make to the lower caste is very bad. We should maintain an equality. So these reformers in 19th century tried to denounce untouchability and the rigidities of the caste system. The ideas of brotherhood, like everyone in India is a brother to everyone. So this concept, the idea, attracted the attention of the so-called lower castes. So they became famous. Like it was easier to grab the attention of the people when people are in distress and someone is asking out for, like someone is giving help. So these reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy with the Brahmo Samaj in 1828, it condemned the practice of polygamy, child marriage, sati. The Arya Samaj was founded in 1875 by Swami Dayananda. He opposed caste system, encouraged female education and remarriage of widows. The Ramakrishna mission was founded in 1896 by Swami Vivekananda. It believed in the principle that service to God is the service of men. It established hospitals, orphanages to alleviate the sufferings of those in distress. The reform movements went along towards arousing nationalistic passion against foreign domination. So they started with social evils, but then they moved towards the main evil those times, that is the getting our independence will be the best for any Indian. So they transformed. Initially they started with social evils, then they transformed their goal to bringing a change in the society through taking out the Britishers out of India. So they started with the social evils and then move out towards the colonialists. So in the first place they did that, and secondly they did, at the time the nation was seized in despair and idleness, Swami Dayananda or Vivekananda boldly proclaimed the superiority of Indian culture and civilization. Like we also know, we have read about that how the Britishers portrayed India as a dark country, or a medieval age as a dark age. All this was to portraying India negatively. So what did they do? They tried to denounce that, and they tried to portray India beautifully, and they gave energy, new energy to the masses. So now thirdly, all these reformers believe that upliftment of women must come first, and then only we can do good about for the country. So they taught us not to discount the importance of women. Like those days, even we women now, when have not got equality in all fields, but yes, obviously the situation is better now. So for this, like earlier, women had no freedom, they had no say in the family. So these reformers highlighted the importance of women. Even some women participated and became the face of the movement, like Sister Nivedita helped Vivekananda in propagating the ideas of Ramakrishna Mission. And then they made a spirited protest against the domination of Britain over India. Like I said, there began the struggle with social issues, and they again continued the struggle for ending the domination of Britain in India. So that was the importance of social religious movements in Indian history, where the reforms came in the society had an impact on the mindset of the Indians, and in slowly, steadily, like the Indian minds changed. There were several laws even passed, even by the British Empire, for bringing change in the, like the Widow Remarriage Act, the Sati Abolition Act. Vidyasagar was a very prominent figure in the Widow Remarriage Act. In the Sati Abolition Act, the Raja Ram Mohan Roy was a prominent figure. So you will get to know how this had an impact on the freedom struggle in India. Now I'll move on to the role of press in the growth of nationalism in India. Like press has always had an important role in any movement. In nowadays also, what does press do? Press just spread the ideas among people. Like for spreading any message, today also we move to the news channels. Earlier it was the newspapers which we refer. So the printing press there played a big role in carrying ideas to the people. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy was the founder of the nationalist journals in India. His Sambat Kaumari in Bengali, published in 1821, had a distinct nationalist character. There had been a strict censorship on the publication of papers and journals. Obviously, there will be strict censorship, because obviously the colonial government, the then government of India was colonial government, the British government, so they will not obviously want to spread any idea against them. So when the nationalist press, like the press founded by the Indian people, wanted to propagate ideas among the Indians to just protest against the colonial rule, or to just start a movement against the colonial rule, obviously the colonial government will try to stop it. So censorship of press had a very, it was a hurdle for press to work within the scenario. But obviously when there are when we try to keep hurdles, the strength of the movement, the strength of the people involved with the press became more energetic. They got more energy. One newspaper is banned, then again they start a new newspaper. Like there had been a strict Ram Mohan Roy waged legal battle against press regulations. Like when there was the Vernacular Press Act 1878, when there were several acts has been passed by the British government to keep strict regulations on the printing press. No free opinion was could be propagated among the people. So Dadabhai Naoroji, now we will give some examples. Edited Rask Goftar in Gujarati language. Then there was Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar started Shom Prakash in Bengali in 1858. In the second half of the 19th century, many English journalists came into being. Some of these continue to be popular newspapers even today, such as the Times of India, founded in 1861, like in the 19th century. The Pioneer in 1865, the Statesman in 1875. These papers, by and large, supported the policies of the government in India. Yet they kept people informed of the rapid political developments in the country. So what did the press do? We often hear in a program like press act as a camera lens. They do not provide any opinion, but they just give the news to the people. But in this connection, the newspapers which developed in the 19th century, like the Statesman, as we know, very important names here, the role of press. The Statesman, the Pioneer, we see, yes. Times of India. All developed, like first began in 19th century. These names are important for short questions also. So these newspapers, they obviously they cannot give a total negative opinion of colonial government to the people, because then they will be banned. But they kept people, all Indian people, informed about the political developments, like the growth of revolutionary terrorism. One video has been uploaded. I'll give the link in the description box. The nationalist press also progressed during this period. So these are English newspapers. Now I'll give some names of the vernacular newspapers. Like I already mentioned about Rashtra Guftar, the Amrit Bazar Potrika started as an Anglo-Bengali weekly in 1867. Later it was converted into an English daily. The Tribune was started in Lahore in 1877, and the Hindu started in Madras, Chennai in 1878. So great was the influence of these papers in fostering patriotism and ideas of liberty and justice in our country. Through his writings, Tilak had two newspapers, two Marathi newspapers, Kesari and Marathi, like Maratha. These are very important. They spread the gospel of freedom and natural rights. Tilak was the one who said, Swaraj is my birthright and I'll have it. So these are the things which we have to understand. The role of press, which had obviously give importance to the understanding of nationalism. Like people became aware of the national movement. Without press, we cannot understand like how a movement is happening in Bengal could reach the Maharashtra or other parts of India. And that time we have to understand there were no boundaries, like Bangladesh, today's Bangladesh, today's Pakistan was already there. It was a huge Indian subcontinent. So press played a huge role in spreading the idea among people about obviously the cons of the colonial government, how we can have an independent government, what are the, like today we also criticize, press always criticize the ruling government for better understanding. Now we will move on to the contributions of Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Jyotiba Phule in the growth of nationalism. Regarding Ram Mohan Roy, we have to also mention about Brahmo Samaj, as he was like the first initial leaders of Brahmo Samaj, and Atmiya Sabha. He established Atmiya Sabha in 1814-15. This date is important for short questions, and his journals like Sambat Kaumari, these are important. Even his writing, Tufat, his Persian work. Like and one thing you have to remember, that Raja Ram Mohan Roy is known as the father of modern India. Why? Because the reforms he brought about the abolition of sati, the protest he made about against child marriages, against polygamy, against colonialism in Bengal, the social evils. It was like a modern age was starting. It was ending of an era. But yes, there are debates about how modern is Raja Ram Mohan Roy. If anyone does a graduation in history honors, then we have to read that question, like how modern is Raja Ram Mohan Roy, or a critical analysis of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. For this, we have to just understand about the role he played in the growth of nationalism or the national movement in India. Through this Brahmo Samaj or Atmiya Sabha, like later the Arya Samaj, this all had an impact. Like he was a linguist. He had knowledge of language, Persian language, Bengali language, obviously. So he was a good. He also was good in English. So he was a very critical, rational scholar of comparative religion and ancient scripture. With his deep knowledge of Shastras, he found the idolatry and polytheism was a departure from basic principle of Shastras. So he was believer of single idol, like the Brahmo Samaj believed, as we all know, that there was a monotheism and no idolatry. Like we have to just pray, this the spiritualism. So he, with the knowledge from our ancient Shastras or religion, we understood like Ram Mohan was beyond any orthodox Hindu ideals. Priestism, blind faith that polluted the Hindu society and degenerated it. It was, according to him, a deep-seated religious reform movement should be started. Otherwise, the unhealthy superstitions, belief, practices in the name of religion could not be done with. The Raja Ram Mohan Roy reached the truth that God is one after deep study of scriptures and he is omnipresent, shapeless. In the Vedas, Upanishads, the creator or Brahma is mentioned. Idolatry as well as polytheism is worship of many gods, is a departure from scriptures. So what is his ideas? He gave the idea of spiritualism with monotheism, shapeless idol, like we have to just pray for God. We don't need to give money to the Brahmins for pleasing them or for our good. This he protested tremendously against the social evils of the Hindu religion or Hindu society. In 1814-15, he founded the Atmiya Sabha, where he expounded his reforming ideas among the audience. He proved his points by defeating conservative pundits and Christian missionaries suffering from fanaticism. In 1828, he founded the Brahmo Sabha, where prayer was made to the creator Brahma. Here you know why Brahma also overweight. So Brahma Sabha is about worshipping Brahma, the creator, who was the creator of universe. We cannot, he doesn't want to worship several gods, but one God who is a creator. Upanishads were read out, arbitrary was cried. The English educated Hindus who felt disgusted with existing religion turned towards Christianity, were vastly attracted by the rational ideas of Brahmo Samaj. So what is this, the impact of Brahmo Samaj or Atmiya Sabha? Then people who are of the lower caste particularly, there was a change of transformation of religion. The lower caste Hindus, the lower caste Muslims were constantly attracted towards the missionaries or the English missionaries. They were taking Christianity as their faith. So these religious organizations or this movement, Brahmo Sabha was a movement, so Brahmo Sabha was there. So they attracted those who were against those traditional orthodox Hindu ideas. So these saved actually the people from transforming their religion into Christianity. In turn, helped Indians about their own social ideas, about their own intellectual ideas, how they could be against the Britishers, how they could transform them into better individuals, how the drain in we can understand how it protected, how the Christianity was an easy option because missionaries wanted, Britishers always want to strengthen their best, and religion always acted as a super best for attractive. So when this alternative to the orthodox religion like Brahmo Shama, Arya Samaj was there, the Indians were attracted to them apart from only the Christianity. So mainly the lower caste, not only the lower, even the upper caste. Brahmo Shama was an upper class body. So those who were who felt bad about the orthodox ideas, they attracted towards these ideas. And Raja Ram Mohan Roy in this regard played a huge role. Then Ram Mohan left for England. The burden of work of Brahmo Samaj fell on Devendranath Tagore, the father of famous Rabindranath Tagore. So in this way, Raja Ram Mohan Roy fought against the social evils of sati, widow remarriage. Widow remarriage was a good one. Why can't the widows have? Because earlier girls used to be married with older people, so they were widowed in a very lesser age, even before 18. So they also could have a life. So from that idea, the Widow Remarriage Act came. Then Vidyasagar played a huge role. But I think all these reforms and bringing good to the society, Ram Mohan had a very important role. Now we move on to Jyotiba Phule. His war was about the caste system, against a protest against the caste system. How he started his movement against the rigidity of the caste system in India. It is often said that in India, social reform movements have been done by individual efforts. We'll now see the role of Jyotiba Phule, who was from Pune, Maharashtra. He was born in a family of florists or a malakar. In 1851, Jyotiba Phule started a girls' school at Pune, which became the center of female education movement under him. Mahatma Phule and his wife devoted themselves to the task of spreading female education. So he was a figure who were protested against the caste like casteism, or spread female education. So he suffered many harassment due to this. Even his own father has dispossessed him from inheritance and turned him out of house. So he suffered many harassment, and he also protested for the treatment, like for a better treatment of depressed class and for widow remarriages. His main base of movement was Maharashtra. The more he faced opposition and humiliation, the more determined he became. He started a powerful movement for removal of untouchability. Like for every, still we have untouchability. We cannot say we have grown out of untouchability. Still there are some villages where it has been practiced. So it is being practiced. So now Jyotiba Phule in that time, in 19th century, protested against those things. So he was quite progressive. Thus he was been tremendously humiliated by his fellow men, his friends, his family. Only he and his wife was very much adamant to do something for the society, and he agitated for the economic advancement of the depressed classes. So his movement took a radical turn as he protested against the high caste Brahmins. So he protested, or he challenged the Brahmins' claim of divinity and superiority as an artificial one. He asked the depressed classes to do away with Brahmins and perform their own religious rites and rituals without them, and thus socially ostracize them. So still now, for any puja or any rituals for in Hindu culture, we call a Brahmin, or he does things. So Jyotiba Phule protested against that. He protested against any claim of Brahmin superiority over other castes. So he influenced the lower caste to do their own rituals themselves. So this revolting social movement made a great impact in Maharashtra. Jyotiba Phule founded the Shodha Shadhak Samaj. So this is important. Satya Shadhak Samaj. This he established that, and then to direct his anti-Brahmin campaign. So this organization was mainly against the superiority of Brahmins. He felt humiliated at the arrogance of Brahmins. He criticized the Indian National Congress even for its negligence to improve the lot of depressed classes. As we all know, before Gandhi, depressed classes were not involved with the main Congress movement, or Indian National Congress was established by 1885. Until Gandhi came or joined Congress or became a main part of the international movement, depressed classes were not highlighted. So later B.R. Ambedkar was there, Gandhi also called depressed classes Harijans, but Jyotiba Phule was the initial figure. He started the caste movement for upliftment of the upper class, or upliftment of the lower caste, and he mainly protested against the superiority of the Brahmins. So he said the Brahminical tyranny of the society must end at any cost. Among his publications we mention about Dharma, Tritiya Ratna and Life of Shivaji. He came to be called as Mahatma from 1888. It's important why we call Jyotiba Phule as Mahatma. So from 1888 he was known as Mahatma. Like epithet was a pre-name was given, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, because he was a great personality who was quite progressive and modern as per his age, because he protested against the social evils of casteism or untouchability, and he protested mainly through the Satya Shadhak Samaj and mainly through the Maharashtrian base. So now we'll end our lecture here. We did about the factors promoting the nationalism and the role of Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Jyotiba Phule. Thank you for watching my lecture video. Please like, share, subscribe History Lessons for more historical facts. And there is one more announcement. I was noticing that 60% of my viewers is not subscribing my channel. Please consider subscribing. It will be a boost to us, our team, for managing or making videos for you, as we all do it like for free. So it will obviously uplift our energy to make, as we all enjoy making videos. I hope my viewers also enjoy watching our videos. Thank you.